and understand that it is the truth. I don't have too many minutes on this video left on this tape, so let's hope I can do this quite quickly.
So there we go. This is one of the first things. It's been recorded on the VHS tape for God knows what reason. And he's supposedly confessing about what he saw on the day that Kennedy was assassinated. And he says, right, I don't have much time left on this tape. So immediately we've gone into the classic thing that all of these people do whenever they're doing interviews or podcasts, like these UFO people or a lot of these people, conspiracy people. There's never enough time. There's never enough time. They hint at stuff. They start talking about stuff, but there's not enough time. Oh, we can't go into that. We can't go into that at the moment. There's never enough time. Even though they've got 2.5 hours on a podcast, there isn't enough time to talk about it. We can get into that another time. It's always another time. So he's already set it up right at the beginning that he's only got a limited amount of time. Why it's been recorded on this video camera, I've no idea. The camera is actually there. You can see it there. It's recording in a. This is a window, a mirror. So let's get into it.
Insanely and excellently. This is about me going to Dallas, Texas on 11/22/63 and what happened on the 6th floor of the book depository.
Okay, so it was the day of the assassination that he went, the 22nd.
I'll do anything, any polygraph, any truth serum, anything you want to prove that my statement is true.
Well, why haven't you just done that? Why are you recording it on this video? Why don't you just come out into the open and do that? Why don't you just go to the authorities and say, yeah, this is what happened. Here's my story of how I was a ninja in the 6th book of the school book depository on the 6th floor.
So I know what's going on. I'm an intuitive. I'm a young man, very intuitive. The food that my parents were feeding me and this and that and that and this only affected me so much until I got older. But it was affecting me. I was losing my intuition. But I still had it. So I steal on an airplane. Yes, I do. I got on an airplane. They didn't know I'd gotten on it.
Where? From where? How did you get on an airplane without anybody knowing you hadn't got on it?
They went around to take the tickets in the airplane. At that time, 1963, when the stewards came around, they found out I didn't have a ticket.
Can anybody confirm that in the 60s you could just get on an airplane and people would come and take your tickets? You didn't have to pre-book. You just got in, you just sat down on a seat randomly and people come along and took tickets, or you could pay for a ticket like it's a bus. Like you're jumping on a bus in a city and you just pay. Can anyone confirm that?
And I told him I didn't need one. I said the father wanted me on here and I was going to Dallas, Texas, which that's where the plane was going anyway.
So basically, in reality, at this point, the police would have been called and you would have been carted off the airplane.
So anyway, in that, this lady and a man beside me who ended up in paying for my ticket. I ended up in telling him I was going to Dallas because the president was going to be shot.
Prior knowledge of the assassination. And what did they say? What did they say when you told them this information?
Be killed. They couldn't believe me. But I'll tell you what, they're only in their 80s if they're still alive. They would raise their hand and they would testify. So that's how I got there.
Presumably, they would have come out at some point a day or two after the assassination, gone to the authorities and said, oh yeah, we were on an airplane yesterday and this guy said that the president was going to be shot. You need to look into him.
Now, let's talk about the 6th floor.
Suddenly he's at the 6th floor, that's it. No, he's on the plane, now he's on the 6th floor. How did he know how to get to the 6th floor?
Right up there, way before the black man was going to have lunch. You know, there's all kinds of boxes, quite a few hiding places. I was always...
wow, there are all kind of boxes in the 6th floor of the school book depository. Wow, he's got real inside information, because nobody knew that, right?
5'9" at the time, 125, 135 pounds. I could easily hide. I actually had some ninja characteristics in me and believed in the art of invisibility, and I have used that in my life. And people had looked straight at me as I was in a tree or as I was here, and they never saw me. I questioned them, and they didn't see me. So anyway, I get up on the 6th floor, and a man comes up there.
A maid.
Somebody I didn't know, and he was poking around and this and that, and I kind of watched him and had to hide also, and I had to not let him know me by staring at him. That's a part of invisibility. You can't look at the people. You've got to always have your eyes someplace else, because straight at them, ESP, they're going to pick it up.
Rupert Sheldrake's Morphic
You
Field.
sometimes have gone in your life and thought somebody was watching you. They probably were.
But if they were probably watching you, surely, just going by what you've just said, you would not have been looking at them, because if you'd have been looking at them, they would have picked it up on the morphic field, and your ninja characteristics would have been blown out of the water, and then they would have seen you. So none of it makes sense.
So anyway, this guy, and he purposefully put his fingerprints on some boxes. Purposefully.
Which guy is he talking about? Is he talking about the maid? Because if it's I don't know what kind of maid works in the 6th floor of the school book depository, but I'm assuming he would have been moving stuff and cleaning stuff, so his hands are going to be all over all the boxes.
And I found out years later, it was probably this Malcolm. It was this Malcolm character that supposedly was an assassin for LBJ. And I understood why he did that. He was hoping they would come and charge him with the assassination, and he knew when the assassination was going to be, and he was going to have a good alibi. He was going to have 5 or 6 people say, oh, no, he was here this time.
Yeah, he was going to have a great alibi. He's going to put his fingerprints all over the school book depository before the president's been assassinated. But he's going to have a really good alibi, because as everybody knows, he's actually there in the 6th floor of the school book depository. So he's going to have a great alibi, isn't he? Watertight. Oh, Jesus Christ.
On that time. He did that for notoriety and to trip the police department.
Like, you're actually going to go before the assassination, you're actually going to be there, and you're going to put your fingerprints everywhere, and then you're going to say, they're going to say, look, we found you, where were you? Oh, my friend can vouch for me. And they'll be like, oh, that's all right. Yeah, seems legit, that's okay. No, he wasn't there, his friend says he wasn't there, he's got a great alibi. Fucking hell.
So he leaves, the black guy comes up, starts having his lunch, and
The
this
black
and that.
guy.
Sitting over there near the shooter's window. Yeah. And I had to chase him off.
Why? Because if he'd have stayed there, then the assassination wouldn't have happened. So why did you have to chase him off? Basically, you're admitting that you are involved in the assassination.
I'm an intuitive. I have some telepathy.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to look at him, concentrate, meditate, and cast images in his mind to get him off the floor.
But I thought if you looked at him, he would have picked up and known that you were there. A minute ago, you said that you didn't look at the person. That was the trick of not finding out, that the people not discovering that you were there. Okay, seems legit.
And he did. He left. And immediately after he left, Richard Bissell, the fired director of the plans, number 2 in charge, came up with his sidekick, Mr. Smith.
And he would know. At 17 years of age, this guy would have been, I believe, at the time of the assassination. Going by how old he says he is, he would know who this Richard Bissell is. Okay. This Richard Bissell, this is before the internet. Has this Richard Bissell even had his picture in any of the newspapers? Would he know? It's just ludicrous.
I think the nephew of General Walter Bedell Smith, the 4th director of the CIA, that had already passed. already passed. 1961, I believe. No, 51. I have no idea. I read it once. I didn't keep up with it. So they come up and they meander around for a while and everything, looking around, getting ready, because, they brought their weapons up. They're going to be the shooters. And then shortly after that, Lee Harvey Oswald comes up.
Why were they going to be the shooters if Lee Harvey Oswald was there to do the job with his gun? And why would the heads of the department be doing it? It's ludicrous.
His weapon. He walks over to the wall that's facing the street and lays it up. And a rifle you have to lay kind of upside down for it to prop up against the wall. The bottom of the stock has to be up, the way it works. So he laid it against the wall. And
the bottom of the stock has to be up. Is that right?
Walked over to the window, looked out of pretty good, this and that, the shooter's window.
Right, so he's there to do the assassination. He's looking out the window. He says, pretty good, right? So he's there to do it. So why are the other two there with their rifles?
And he came back and kind of looked at him and everything. But here, I missed something. I know I'm going to miss some things. When he came up there, Richard Bissell says, well, Lee, we're glad you're here. Lee really didn't say anything.
Yeah, like they're gonna, like the three of them are going to do the assassination, and it's like a, really well laid plan. Oh, we'll meet you up there. We'll meet you on the 6th floor. Yeah, I'll meet about 12, about 12:15. We'll meet you there. Okay.
And then he came back and everything, and Bissell and Smith were getting a little antsy because the time was running out. That the car situation was coming.
Kennedy's car, he means.
And Lee came back, got them in front of him with their backs to the wall, to the street, and he pulled out his pistol.
He didn't have his pistol with him.
So you want me to kill the president? I can't do it. I like him too much.
Might this have not come up at some point before in the planning?
Then they had a slight conversation.
A slight conversation.
He held him at bay. And see, I had to wet my lip. They're going to say that means something. Some body languager is going to say this, going to say that. Take all body language, people, with a grain of salt, okay?
Yeah, because I really have to concentrate on your body language to find out whether you're lying or not, because your story is so watertight. It's so watertight and no holes in it that you've got to get down to the body language.
Just take it with a grain of salt. Not everybody acts the same. So Lee Harvey Oswald threatened him. He almost shot him. But he threatened him by saying, you shoot the president and I'll kill you. I'll kill you. I damn well will kill you. But he didn't say it 3 times. Sorry. So he backed out and went down the stairs.
So Lee Harvey Oswald is trying to stop them shooting the president. And his way of doing that is by saying, don't shoot the president, and then walking off. When he could have just sat there. That would have stopped him killing the president. No, he said, don't do it. If you do it, I'll kill you. And then he walked off. Makes sense.
Mr. Smith looked at Bissell. And here's some big words, people. These are some very, very big words now that you need to try to understand. Smith looked at Bissell and says, damn, I thought he was really going to shoot us. I didn't know he could do that. And Bissell says, yeah, I'll tell them about that. And then they got situated. They talked a little bit to themselves. I couldn't hear it, although I had good hearing. I was too far away.
They could hear all the other stuff.
And they got prepared to shoot JFK. Now, Bissell was the one in the brown suit. You had a woman that actually testified. She saw somebody in a brown suit and another man. Bissell was the one in the brown suit leaning up against the window frame with his rifle. A little squatted down with his rifle up so he was steady and everything. And Smith was down underneath him, a little bit off, with a shorter barreled weapon. And he was resting on the seal. So when he came around, Bissell was the first shot. And he was so euphoric when he shot him. He goes, I got him. And hit Smith on the shoulder.
I spoke about this in the other video I did on it. The first shot missed, right? The first shot missed. That's when Kennedy turns around to his right and the girl running down on the other side of the road stops at exactly the same time. And like, you're going to be tapping someone on the shoulder when you've just shot someone. So anyway, so that's nonsense.
It was right when Smith was ready to pull the trigger. And when he hit his shoulder, he missed. And he shot John Connolly. And he said, damn, I got John.
Right. Kennedy and Connolly were hit at the same time with the second shot. So that's bollocks as well. He didn't miss Kennedy and hit John Connolly.
You see, the shooter knows who he shoots. Yes, he does. Almost 100%. And Bissell said, that's okay, he's a traitor anyway. Hold on. And Bissell's still down on his knees. Hold on. Oh, in the head. Wow, come on, it's over. Now, I take that back. He didn't say that first. He said, oh, in the head. And this says, Mandarin the white is now the black. Come on, let's go. Mandarin the white is now the black. They had 3 code names: Saul for King Saul, killing David; Lebanon for Israel; and Mandarin. Bissell was Saul. He was a king that was assassinating David. Mr. Smith was the embodiment, I guess, of Israel. I don't know. I don't know the complete psychology. Again, Mandarin, quite an interesting name. Chinese, Mandarin, but it meant man is daring. So they say that Roscoe White was not the shooter, although Roscoe White said he was a shooter. And we got some guy named Files and other people. There's so much BS out there, it's pathetic. So I understand. You're going to think
this guy's sitting there straight up telling you there's so much bullshit out there, it's pathetic, and he's telling you this story how he was using his ninja skills watching the assassination. What can I say? Oh look, there's an obelisk. There's an obelisk. Dealey Plaza.
All that stuff is BS. I understand that. That's why I'm alive, so you can test me. And that's why Jesus Christ has kept me alive many a time. CIA found out about me in 1966. But here, back to the book depository. So Bissell made sure that the shells were where he thought they should be. Like, they come out the rifle and they bounce around and everything. And as they were leaving and got past the boxes and was turning their back to me, going towards the elevator, because they had the little device that controlled the elevator. No one knew. They controlled it. No one could use it. That's the way it goes.
I'd like to find out exactly what kind of elevator it was in 1963 of the 6th floor of the school book depository in Texas that could be controlled by a handheld device. Because I would put money it's one of those like crappy elevators, like made out of wood, that's got like a couple of rattly doors that go across, like those like linky doors. It's just ludicrous. So not only they've got to assassinate the president, but at the same time they've got to be concentrating on some weird device that's like working the elevator.
You were assassin, you know damn well that was it. You know, it's interesting that very few people even talked about that, the control for the elevator and why it was not working. So as they were going, I rose up and I laughed at them. Now you're dead. Oh, Smith turned around and listened real quick, but they were drawing their weapons. And I'm going, you can't do that. You can't spoil your crime scene. Besides that, you got to get out of here now.
So not only have we historically we've got documentation of and people spending like years and years working out the timing of how Lee Harvey Oswald fired his final shot and then done one, hid his rifle, then done one out of the school book, out of the sixth floor, went down the stairs and was standing drinking a Coke in the canteen. People have spent, you know, there's like, you can read reams and reams and reams of stuff of whether it was possible, whether it wasn't possible. You know, it's all on the Oliver Stone, JFK. Everyone's seen that. And yet this guy, according to this guy's story, they've done, when the assassination finished, there's these two guys, he's standing there with these two guys having an exchange, having a conversation, and there's this dramatic exchange going on. And there's two rifles they've both got. There's three of them up there. So how did that all work out? Because the coppers were up there like a minute or two later. Or the copper, the first guy who got there. And yet there's all this going on out of the clear blue sky.
Bissell hit him on the arm and they scooted out. They knew they couldn't shoot me. Oh, I forgot to say. And when Smith turned around and saw me, he says, damn, it's the kid. They knew of me. They just didn't know me.
The kid. Oh my God, the kid's seen us. If it wasn't for you pesky kids, we would have got away with it. Shooting him might have been a good idea. Really, because then, you know, there's we got up here and we shot the guy. It was him. It was the kid. It was the kid what did it.
And they screwed it out big time. So I only had a small period of time also. So I went over there and I put my Bible down. I've shown you the Bible in another video. I put my Bible down on the boxes. Had a little marker in it.
Oh my God.
And I quickly got in front of the window. I arranged the casings and put them together. So they would go, wow, what assassin would actually delay his exit by gathering the shell casings and putting them together? In fact, I maybe left my fingerprints on there, but since they don't have my fingerprints, because they don't know who I was, they don't know. So I started scratching an emblem in the window sash that goes up and down. It's wooden. I started scratching it. There was left.
So the assassination's just happened. He had this exchange, a verbal exchange with the assassins, which has taken God knows how long. They've scooted off, and then he's strolling over there, putting a Bible down, moving the boxes around, and now scratching something on the windowsill. And meanwhile, the policeman's running up the stairs, but he's running up like in a dream, like he's running through treacle. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he's bending time as well or something.
Scratched wood particles there on the seal. They could have gotten blown off, but they'd been on the floor. Then again, maybe the wind blew them outside, and they never did see them. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know what they did. So I scooted over and grabbed Lee Harvey Oswald's rifle. It was still leaning up.
Oh, Jesus.
Against the wall. And I forgot to tell you something. I'll go back to that.
Oh, yeah.
I took it over, and I'm the one who hid it in the boxes. And don't be surprised if I didn't leave a print somewhere on that rifle. They got the print, but they don't know where it's from. And I wouldn't have left fingerprints, because if I ever got fingerprinted and they used their computers, which I knew that they would be computers. Look at that, my tape's just about out. So anyway, the one thing
The tape's just about out. He's got so much more to tell, but unfortunately there isn't time.
So I scooted out of there. And the policeman came up real quick, and I jumped down the steps. He heard me. He came over. He looked down there, and I pointed at him. Don't tell them you saw me, or they will kill you also. And I split. But
oh, God.
One other thing I missed. When Lee Harvey Oswald was holding them at bay, Bissell was close enough to the rifle that he could grab the barrel, and Lee was looking out the window to see this and see that, and Bissell swung it at him as quick as he could. And Lee Harvey Oswald blocked it with this palm, his left palm.
Like a
remember,
ninja.
The rifle's upside down. So the palm print looks like it's kind of in a strange place, but he blocked the butt of the rifle with this palm print right here. Go find out, and you'll find out that what I told you is the truth.
Oh, Jesus.
So like I said...
Because, you know, when someone swings a large, like a gun or a large bit of wood at you, it's really easy to just block it with your palm, you know. It's
just about over. It may cut off on us. But anyway, that's the story. I could go a little bit more in depth. It's all the truth. And as you see, I missed a couple of parts. No matter how many times I run that over my brain and everything, and know how many times I would have liked to present that information without any skipping around and forgetting this and forgetting that, I didn't do it.
You've only had like,
I always do something wrong.
You've only had like 50 or 60 years, but I guess there wasn't enough time.
Nothing is perfect. And the assassination wasn't perfect. Just like Bobby Kennedy's assassination is even got more flaws in it. And if you don't believe Eugene Thane Caesar was the shooter of Bobby Kennedy, you're wrong. You got it wrong, and Eugene just died last year. So anyway, this is about out. I got to take it down. I had a little lady put it on a disc with a couple other things. And I'm going to put it on YouTube. You all have a great forever. And know full well that you're going nowhere unless you elect Donald J. Trump and you stop the Democrats. And that's what I'm here for, people, to stop the Democrats. I have proof of trying to get in touch with the Kennedys all the time. Paperwork, phone conversations, tape, this and that. I have documented and have proof of my attempt to tell people over many years. So, this one's out. Y'all take care. Have a great forever.
Okay, that's enough of that. What an absolute load of fucking bollocks.